Right. What does the best actually mean when we're talking about metal guitars? Is it about raw aggression and low-end clarity? Or is it about technical precision and expressive freedom? The truth is, the answer is actually very different for every single one of us. And that brings us to the real problem, doesn't it? When you're on the hunt for that perfect metal machine, what do you actually go for? Do you get a 6-string, a 7-string? Do you want the chaos of a floating trem? Or the solid foundation of a hardtail? We're exploring that exact dilemma with the brand new Ibanez RGA Premium range. I'm going to put both the 6 and the 7-string models to the test and really analyse how these guitars are great for metal and for what specific genres they may truly shine. And I'll be honest, I'm personally quite particular about what makes a great metal guitar. It's a tricky formula that, in my opinion, not a lot of companies tend to get right. So the big question is, has Ibanez nailed it with these two? Let's find out. And also, big thanks to Ibanez for supporting my community, sending these over and sponsoring today's video. Alright, let's start with the 6-string, the RGA 20P1PB. First out of the box, there's a floating trem arm, and then you get this epic Ibanez multi-tool in a really nice sparkly red finish. Always a nice touch if you need to tweak the setup. Then you've got the Ibanez Premium zip-up gig bag. It's more of a backpack style, way nicer than a basic soft case. 2 zip-up front pockets. You can put your cables in there, straps, strings, whatever you need. Alright, let's get to the good part. Inside, the guitar is wrapped in a protective slip cover. There it is, the RGA 20P1PB. Look at that top, that's a poplar burl over a multi-layer maple, walnut, curly maple and panga panga cap. Say that fast. Finished in cosmic blue burst low gloss. Looks really nice in person. You've got the classic Ibanez Premium headstock, locking nut, and as you move down the neck, that 5-piece maple and walnut wizard neck with the ebony fretboard. The fretwork is near perfect. Jumbo stainless steel frets with the premium fret edge treatment for a super smooth feel. On the back, you can see the American basswood body with that satin finish. The neck joint feels seamless, and you've got the access carve for easy upper fret playability. For hardware, there's an edge floating trem, Goto machine heads, and DiMarzio Fusion edge humbuckers in both positions. Controls a volume tone and the 5-way switch with the Dyna MIX10 and Ultra switch, so you can get 10 different pickup combinations, including a surprisingly convincing single coil tone when you want it. Now onto that 7-string. This is the RGA 21P1PB. Inside the box you get the same paperwork and tools as the 6-string, nothing surprising there. And just like the 6, it comes with an Ibanez Premium backpack style gig bag, tough zips, padded straps, and those 2 roomy front pockets for your cables, straps, or even a small pedal. Honestly, it's a nice setup from a standard soft case. You got another protective slip cover. Pulling it off, here we have the 7-string guitar in the deep Twilight Burst low gloss. Like the 6, you've got that stunning poplar burl top over layers of maple, walnut, curly maple, and panga panga. Let me know in the comments so far which one you prefer, the 6 or the 7. Up at the headstock, you don't have the locking nut like on the trem-equipped 6-string, but you do get Goto MGT locking tuners for rock solid stability. The neck is the same 5-piece maple and walnut wizard profile with an ebony fretboard and the same jumbo stainless steel frets with the premium edge treatment. Super smooth, super fast, and flawless out of the box. Around the back, you've got the same American basswood body and a satin finish, and just like the 6, the sculpted heel makes it really easy to reach the upper frets, even with the extra string. Hardware-wise, this one's a hardtail, the Gibraltar standard 3 bridge instead of the trem, which makes it feel extra solid if you're doing a lot of low-tune riffing or downpicking. The pickups are the same DiMarzio Fusion edge humbuckers with the volume tone, 5-way selector, and of course the Dyna MIX10 or Dynamix 10 Ultra switch for 10 different pickup combinations, including those surprisingly usable single coil voices. So yeah, on paper, the specs basically tick all the right boxes for metal players, but the only way to really know is to put them to the test. Let's see how they both actually play. Starting out on the 6-string, I wanted to get a proper feel for what it's like to play, so I ran through a bunch of different styles. Some Metallica riffs, some Solosis runs, and even a bit of Pantera, just to see how versatile it really is. The first thing that jumped out at me is how comfortable the neck feels. It's slim enough for speed, but it's not so thin that you feel like you're gripping a ruler. You can sit there for hours riffing and not feel any strain in your hand, which is huge for long practice sessions or live sets. Moving up and down the neck is effortless, that ebony fretboard just feels smooth, and the stainless frets make slides and bends really clean. You don't get that grabby feeling that you do on some cheaper fret jobs. The upper fret access is brilliant too. When you're hitting those higher notes or adding little lead fills into your riffs, you're not contorting your hand or fighting the cutaway. It's all right there, easy to reach. Another thing I noticed is just how well balanced the guitar is. Whether I'm sitting down tracking or standing up jamming, it just sits perfectly. There's no real neck dive, and the body contours make it really comfortable to hold, nothing digging into your arm or feeling awkward. I really pushed it through different picking dynamics too. Fast alternate picking, big down pick sections, even some softer lead runs, and it responds to everything. It's not one of those guitars where you feel like it only wants to do one thing. You can go from aggressive rhythm parts to something a bit more melodic, and it just keeps up. This guitar endlessly handles anything I throw at it. Like I said, Metallica, Silosis, Pantera, rhythms, chugs, and leads. It just handles it so easily, and this is how the guitar plays straight out of the box. I had no real complaints. And then there's the floating trem, which is probably my favourite part of this guitar. Toward the end, I started messing around with it, doing some subtle vibrato, a few dive bombs, even some flutter effects and harmonic squeals, and it just felt great. What I love is that it's not too stiff or clunky, it's smooth, it's predictable, and it returns to pitch nicely, even after some fairly aggressive use. It's the kind of trem you could take on stage and trust that it's not going to drift out of tune halfway through a set. Overall, this 6-string just feels easy to play. Whether you're riffing, shredding, or just noodling around, it's one of those guitars that doesn't get in the way. It makes you want to keep playing, which honestly is exactly what I look for in a workhorse guitar. For the 7-string version, I had this set up in drop A and spent some time riffing on those old school deathcore vibes. Think MySpace era, Suicide Silence and Chelsea Grin. And honestly, it handles the low tuning like a breeze. The pickups actually really surprised me here. There was tons of clarity, even when I was chugging away on the low A, but still aggressive enough to keep that heavy modern tone. The neck profile feels fast without being too thin, so you've got plenty of grip when you're digging in, but it's still really easy to move around for those quick position shifts. Upper fret access is effortless, so if you're throwing in leads or octave runs, you're not fighting the guitar at all. Down low, there's loads of room for your picking hand, so you don't feel cramped when you're doing those big low A chugs. And because this is a standard scale 7, the string tension feels a bit looser compared to a baritone, which actually makes fast riffing, for me, way more comfortable. I know some extended range players prefer a longer scale for tuning stability, but personally I prefer standard scale for a 7-string. It feels less like you're battling the guitar and more like it's working with you. Plus, with the right gauge strings, you can still get plenty of tension without sacrificing that more comfortable feel. Overall, it's one of those guitars that makes you want to keep playing, whether you're riffing, chugging, or even just noodling clean parts. It feels easy and natural, which is exactly what you want from a 7-string. Alright, so that's how they feel to play. But what about those tones? Let's run through some pickup demos and see what metal genres these two are actually best suited for. Starting with the alto switch engaged, you get that sharper, more percussive voice, perfect for those djenty, staccato style riffs in drop A. Perfect for those djenty, staccato style riffs in drop A. It's tight, it's articulate, and it really lets the low strings speak without getting muddy. Then switching back to the bridge humbucker, it's exactly what I want for heavier parts in drop A still. Tight lows, plenty of attack, and that modern metal voice that just works for chugs and fast aggressive picking. The big takeaway is that the Fusion Edge pickups and the hardtail bridge give you a really solid platform for anything in drop A, from articulate djent riffs to full-on heavy rhythm parts, without losing clarity or tuning stability. Starting with the bridge humbucker, this is where the DiMarzio Fusion Edge really does its thing. Tight, aggressive, low end, clear mids, and no mud even when you're palm muting or down picking hard. Switching to the neck pickup, it's a completely different feel. Smoother, warmer, but still clear enough to cut through for leads and melodies. And of course, that's where the edge trem comes into play. It's stable, returns to pitch nicely, and feels predictable, whether you're doing full dive bombs, subtle flutters, or squeal harmonics. Right then, so that's the Ibanez RGA Premium 6 and 7 string. And I've got to say, I actually genuinely enjoyed my time with both of them. The 6 string is basically a pure shred machine, and the 7 is a monstrously tight riff factory. But you know what I actually think the best part is? Ibanez has completely avoided that lazy metal guitar stereotype. We've all seen it a million times, haven't we? All blacked out everything, and then loaded with some generic metal high gain pickups. But let's be honest, some of the most legendary metal guitars in history were traditional looking guitars that just screamed for other reasons. The feel, the build, the whole package. And I'm so glad that Ibanez has looked to the past for inspiration with these new models, because that means they feel like proper instruments and not cliches. So have they nailed it? For me, yeah, 100%. But I really want to know what you reckon. Which one are you grabbing? Team 6 string or Team 7 string? And what do you think of the looks? Get down in the comments and let me know. And as always, if you want to know more about these two beauties, check the link in the description below.